Hello everyone, and welcome back to Kira's Workshop. I know Valentine's Day is long gone, but I still wanted to make something commemorative. At the end of the day, February is Valentine's month, right? I decided to go with a Pokemon themed doll, and I chose one of the Pokemon that evolved with a high friendship bond, the one and only Sylveon, Eevee's fairy type evolution. But there's a twist in this project. First of all, I decided to go with a shiny version of Sylveon, which in my opinion is one of the prettiest shinies ever. To be quite honest, I personally don't like making dolls with animal features myself. So for the second twist, I decided to make my Sylveon an anime magical boy. Of course, I'll keep the fairy theme and the color palette. So without further ado, let's go! For this magical boy, I'm using a Creatable world doll. After I rebooted him with baby blue yarn and draw the eyes off camera, I'll begin adding some shadow to the bottom lip and also add shadow on the nose. And then with a brown pencil, draw the mouth line trying to give him a little smirk. And then with a nude pencil, draw a little dimple to pronounce the smirk. Shiny Sylveon has the eyes pink, so with a dark pink I'm drawing the edge of the iris. And fill the rest with baby pink. Now time to draw that iconic anime eyeliner. I really tried to go full anime style by leaving some parts of the eyes white. And let me tell you that I don't know why, but I find anime eyes very difficult to make. The bigger the eyes, the more noticeable the errors are. With blue pastel, I'm adding the brows. Usually anime brows are very thin and curved, but I want him to look joyful, so I'm making them pointy and thick. And then with an eraser, I'm curving the shape how I want them to be, and I usually do this step with a new layer of MSC, to avoid erasing the contour in the process. And if you erase too much, you can always add more pastel and fix it. Off camera, I trace the brows with a darker blue. Now it's time to add the scleras, trying to make those spaces with outliner as clean as possible. Even when the chalk pastel has great opacity, I'll layer it 2 more times. Anime eyes have huge black pupils, but for my Sylveon, I'll stick to the Pokemon's design and draw the pupils dark pink. Off camera, I draw a plum ring around the pupil and some light to the iris with a very pale pink. He's looking kinda surprised, so now it's time to add shadow to the eyes using black pastel. This is also a great chance to balance both eyes, in case one turned bigger than the other. To finish everything, paint the catch lights with white. And since he's a fairy boy, I'm dusting some pearlescent mica powder on the tip of the nose, cheeks, forehead and chin. I use a spongy eyeshadow applicator to really press on the pigment. I'll just add a tiny dot of light on the tip of the nose, and the face is done. For this little one, I made a lot of patterns. I made this for the shirt, this one for the shorts, and finally these ones for a sleeveless coat. First, I close the shirt directly on the doll using a ladder stitch. The shirts have elastic, so I don't have to add anything to them. And the coat will be sewn on top of the shirt. I cut everything on white fabric to stick to the Pokemon's white fur. To break all that white a little bit, I'm incorporating Sylveon's color stripes of its ribbons to the angles of the coat. First, baby pink. To reduce the brush strokes, I diluted the paint with some water. But also, it can be too much water, because that might make the paint to bleed and stain the borders of the other colors. Next, I'm using a dark pearlescent pink. To paint this, I'm using a flat brush to really make sharp lines. To finally finish, I'm adding blue. Since the pink and blue contrast a lot with the pearlescent pink, I decided to add pearlescent white to those colors. For the shoes, I got these belt boots that the doll came with, and I'm going to paint them blue since Sylveon's paws are blue. And off camera, I painted the soles with a darker blue. But after looking at them, I felt that the belts didn't look that good in the same color, so I decided to paint them pink. And to make everything cohesive, I'm also adding 1 coat of the pearlescent paint to the boots. Off camera, I just painted the buckles golden to add some detail. What makes Sylveon extra special and cute are those 4 ribbons that surround its body. To achieve how flowy they are, I'm going to use liquid latex with a wire inside. To encapsulate the wire, I added 3 coats of liquid latex on a silicone mat. Once dry, I added an extra layer and hold the wire in place. Then I'm just proceeding to add 6 more layers to really cover the wire. To apply the latex, I'm using a synthetic makeup brush since the bristles are more gentle, and it doesn't leave harsh brush strokes on the material. Keep in mind that any air bubble or dried latex lump will affect the end results. After all the layers are dry, I dust all the ribbons with makeup setting powder to eliminate the stickiness. and then draw the shape of the ribbons. Later, proceed to paint the tips with pink. Then I decided to cut the ribbons, and off camera I painted everything with white. Now I'm painting the ribbons with the same pattern that Sylveon has. That's pink on the tip, a darker pink on the middle, and lastly blue. I have to mention that this is not the best method to paint latex. The acrylic paint might crack in the future. The best way to paint it is to mix equal parts of liquid latex and acrylic paint. You know I love staffs or magical weapons. For this, I took a bamboo skewer and glue on a hollow plastic sphere. First of all, I'm painting half of the skewer pink and the other half blue. I want to blend both colors together, and to do it, I'm applying pink and blue paint on a makeup sponge and dab it right in the middle. Once the staff is painted, I'll continue with the orb. I'm painting it white. I sanded down the plastic so that the paint sticks better. And later, I'm taking a makeup sponge, add some grey paint, and start dabbing it on the orb. That's right, this is a little moon. You wanna know why? Because this magical boy's special move is Moonblast, a fairy move in Pokemon. Now I'm just adding some details like some craters and stuff. Off camera, I applied one coat of pearlescent paint to the moon and the stuff. And finally, I'm making some crystals to hold the moon. I forgot to start recording with the camera, but first I coated the top of the gem mold with gold leaf, and then add blue and clear resin. Now I'm applying some holographic pigment and iridescent flakes. Mix that just a little bit, and pop any air bubbles with a lighter. Now add blue glitter on the bottom, and purple on top. I don't want to mix both glitters together, so I'm just pushing them to the bottom, and cure it on the UV lamp for 60 seconds. Once done, I'll sand them so they lay completely flat. Put one gem back on the mold, and add a drop of clear resin and move it around with a pin, trying to cover every corner. And put the other half on top. Cure that for another 60 seconds. And here's how it turned out. I just need to make 3 more. Now I'm just adding a drop of hot glue and glue them on the staff. Once everything is on place, I'll add a drop of resin between each crystal and cure it again. I really like how he turned out. He looks very playful and happy, just the way the Pokemon is. I'm also very happy with the movement of the ribbons. Since I had one more pair of ribbons, I decided to add them to the staff, as a final touch. But I wanna know about you. What do you think about Sylveon? Do you have a favorite Pokemon? Let me know in the comments. And well, that's up for today. But as always, don't forget to like this video and join the workshop by subscribing to my channel. Click the bell to get notified about new videos, and follow me on Instagram at Kira's_workshop. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next time. Kira out!